You know, when you take a look at the manufacturing data that came out over the weekend, still in expansion mode, but slowing down. Is this a trend that we can continue to see out of China for the next year?
Yeah, I think for the next few months, we definitely will see that China's economy will continue to trend down. Actually, we put out a view last November that we expect China to have a V-shaped growth pattern this year, which means that the economy will trend down in the first 2 quarters because China has shifted from a restocking cycle to destocking cycle, and we expect that growth to slow to around 7% in second quarter before China government may have another stimulus measures and boost the economy.
So you think it's actually going to dip below that 7.5%, which has been a floor for Chinese growth? That was the goal last year. That perceptibly could be the goal this year. You think it's going to dip even to the 7% level?
Yes, I think 7.5% is target for the annual growth, but for certain quarter it can dip to 7%. This is the bottom line set up by the top leaders last year. So I think 7% is the bottom line. That when China growth actually approach that level, actually I think China leaders will roll out new measures to stimulate the economy.
Okay, but that's the thing. I mean, this is new leadership that has said, look, we are not going to stimulate because the stimulus is the old economy. We want to drive it into the new economy, which is consumer-driven growth. But, of course, all of that means tensions rise up.
Yeah, you're right. I think what they mean that they will not stimulate if the economy grow above the bottom line. But if the economy grow below the bottom line, I think they will intervene. Because anyway, in this July, there are 7 million college graduates get out of school. I think the government needs to get some job for them. Otherwise, there's some trouble there.
There's already trouble in Kunming. There's already trouble rising up. As you say, these new grads are leaving school and they don't have jobs. What else are you going to be looking for from the National People's Congress meeting this week?
For this week's meeting, I don't really expect anything like a game changer will come out. This is not how things play out in China. But I think a lot of topics are going to be discussed over this week. I think overall sentiment can get boosted, especially those older topics like environment, like healthcare, like food safety, and new issues such as talk about SOE reform, like a negative list from Shanghai Free Trade Zone. For me, because I'm an economist, my job is to read policy tea leaves, so I will focus on the growth target. Now, actually, the market consensus is 7.5% for this year, and I agree with that. But what I look into is that because this is the first time for Premier Li to deliver his government work report, so I see that whether he will water down this target, whether he will mention the bottom line like 7% growth. Yeah. So I will look close into that.
All right. I mean, when you look at the economic tea leaves, as you've put it, what are you looking for? What do you look for that other people might miss? That's important data set for you.
Oh, for me, actually, I will look at the inventory data very closely. I look at steel inventory. I will look at cement production, because I will compare cement production and steel production to see whether China is in inventory cycle or destocking cycle. That's important to me, because in the past 2 years, actually, China's cycles actually largely driven by inventory cycle. Yeah. So I will closely look at whether when China's economy will shift from a destocking cycle to restocking cycle. Because over the weekend, from the PMI data, we see clearly that China actually is trapped in a negative feedback loop. I will say destocking cycle and falling PPI inflation. So I will see that whether China can get out of it anytime soon.
One last question before I let you go. What about PBOC RMB volatility?
Yeah, I think that this time it's largely engineered by PBOC to increase the currency volatility, because last year we see it's like a one-way appreciation and a huge capital inflow into China to take this one-way bet. So I think this is a bad thing, and this time PBOC want to increase the volatility. So I think this is a good thing, and I don't really worry about, people talk about this can indicate something like hard landing. I don't believe it. But I think that later this year, when growth approaches 7%, the market will feel concerned about the hard landing, and the RMB could depreciate again. That time I will be worried.